When you think of F1 success, names like Schumacher, Hamilton, Vettel or Verstappen may come to mind. But the most successful individual in Formula 1 history isn't a driver or a team boss. He's Adrian Newey, one man whose pen and paper have shaped 4 decades of dominance, 12 Drivers' Championships, 13 Constructors' Championships, and well over 200 Grand Prix victories. From Williams to McLaren to Red Bull, Newey's designs have rewritten the rulebook, crushed rivals, and redefined what a Formula 1 car can be. Today, we're diving into the untold story of Newey, the cheat code of aerodynamics. Born in 1958, Newey studied aeronautics and astronautics at the University of Southampton, graduating in 1980 with a thesis on ground effect aerodynamics, useful later in life. The same year, he joined Fittipaldi Automotive as a junior aerodynamicist. The team was struggling, but the experience put him inside Formula 1's paddock at a young age. Soon after, Newey moved to March Engineering in the US. His Mark 85C design won the 1985 Kart Championship and the Indianapolis 500, cementing his reputation at a young age before he was even 30. Wherever Newey's pen went, trophies followed. In 1988, Newey was back in Formula 1 with Leyton House, creating the Mark 881. It was light, slippery, and so aerodynamically efficient that Capaldi briefly led the Portuguese Grand Prix despite having one of the weakest engines on the grid. What made it extraordinary was context. Leyton House was a small team, with a fraction of the staff and budget of McLaren, Ferrari or Williams. Yet Newey's genius design allowed a tiny team to embarrass the giants. The 881 is still remembered as one of the greatest underdog cars in F1 history. Moving on to the late 1980s, Newey became chief designer at Williams, and his cars were about to change Formula 1 forever. The 1991 FW14 introduced semi-automatic gearboxes, advanced aerodynamics, and active suspension. By 92, in the FW14B, Mansell stormed to the title, winning 9 out of 16 races and clinching the championship with 5 rounds still left. In 1993, Alain Prost stepped into Newey's FW15C and it was even more advanced. Some say the most technologically sophisticated F1 car ever made. Prost won his 4th and final title, and Williams took 10 wins in 16 races. Between 1992 and 1997, Newey's Williams cars delivered 5 Constructors' Championships in 6 years, and 4 drivers' titles: Mansell, Prost, Hill, and Villeneuve. And it wasn't just about those wins. Mansell and Prost were sometimes qualifying more than a full second clear of the field. In Formula 1, that's not just domination, that's humiliation. But Newey, he wasn't done. In 1997, Newey jumped to McLaren. The timing was perfect. By 98, his MP4/13 was ready, and Mika Hakkinen used it to beat Michael Schumacher and Ferrari, winning 8 of the 16 races and securing both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. In 1999, Hakkinen defended his title with 5 wins, though Ferrari edged McLaren in the Constructors' standings. But the 2000s were harder. McLaren finished 2nd in 2000 and 2001, 3rd in 2002 and 2003, 5th in 2004, and 2nd in 2005. There were flashes of brilliance, like the rapid but fragile MP420 in 2005, but reliability issues and Ferrari's dominance kept championships just out of reach. In 2001, Newey was nearly poached by Jaguar in a messy contract saga, and by 2005 the relationship with McLaren was fraying. The 9 years at Woking proved he could still deliver brilliance, but also revealed how suffocating the politics of a big manufactured team could be. Then came Red Bull, the fizzy drinks brand. In 2006, Dietrich Mateschitz and Christian Horner convinced Newey to join a team that at the time was still seen as a marketing experiment with a Formula 1 entry. But just 3 years later, in 2009, Newey's RB5 was already fighting for wins, and then came the golden era. In 2010, the RB6 delivered Red Bull's first title. Vettel won the Drivers' Championship with 5 wins, and Red Bull took the Constructors' crown. In 2011, it was pure destruction. 12 wins, 15 poles, 17 podiums in 19 races. Vettel clinched his 2nd title with 4 races to spare. And in 2012, it got closer, but that was arguably more impressive. Vettel clawed back from a 42-point deficit to Alonso, winning the title by just 3 points at a dramatic Brazilian finale. And in 2013, it was domination again. Vettel won 13 races, including 9 in a row, a record that lasted a decade. That streak gave Red Bull 4 straight Constructors and Drivers' Championships between 2010 and 2013. But Newey and Red Bull weren't done there, and in 2021 Max Verstappen managed to clinch a Drivers' World title after a controversial Abu Dhabi showdown with Hamilton. And in 2022, Red Bull broke records. Verstappen won 15 races, the most ever in a season, using Newey's brand new design. Then, in 2023, the RB19 redefined dominance. Verstappen won 19 of 22 races, and Red Bull claimed 21 of the 22 total races, absolutely dominating the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships with unbelievable records. Across Red Bull's dynasty, Newey's cars delivered 7 Drivers' Championships and 6 Constructors' titles. Newey's obsession with pure aerodynamics led to the Aston Martin Valkyrie project. Developed in partnership with Red Bull Advanced Technologies, the Valkyrie was effectively a road-legal prototype, cramming a Formula One inspired downforce and packing it into a hypercar. For Newey, it was a playground, a chance to be creative and explore ideas outside of the tight, restrictive FIA rulebook. And in 2024, news shook the paddock. Adrian Newey was leaving Red Bull, his dynasty left behind. The reason? Politics, burnout, and perhaps the challenge of starting fresh. His next destination, Aston Martin. Backed by Lawrence Stroll's billions, with the new $250 million Silverstone HQ and Alonso behind the wheel, Aston offered Newey a blank canvas and a record wage rumoured between £20 and £30 million per year, plus equity in the team. The paddock was buzzing. Could this be his final masterpiece? Could he turn Aston from midfield hopefuls into title contenders? And could Alonso finally get that extra Drivers' Championship that we all wish? But that's a story yet to be developed, and in the 2026 season, when the cover comes off those cars, we'll see if Newey's worked some magic. So from the 90s dominance in Williams, to the McLaren troubles, to Vettel's and Verstappen's record-breaking domination, Adrian Newey has shaped every era of racing since the 1980s. He's not just an engineer. Backed by great drivers and Formula One teams, he's the most successful human in Formula One history, a man who turned airflow into silverware. And as he steps into his Aston Martin chapter, one question hangs in the air. After 40 years, 12 Constructors' titles, 13 Drivers' crowns, and over 220 wins, does Newey have one last championship up his sleeve? I hope you enjoyed.